In this video, we want to help you maximize your retirement income. Specifically, we're going to be looking at which account should you draw from first in retirement. Is it the RSP, the TFSA, the non-registered account, or is it a mix of all three of those? We're going to be taking a look at the best way to draw down your retirement assets, either RSP, TFSA, non-registered accounts, and we're going to be taking a look at that through a case study, through an example. We're going to walk through all the different decumulation possibilities and which one is the best given this situation. This, of course, is an extremely important decision. We want to maximize your after-tax estate value. We want to maximize your after-tax retirement spending. We want to minimize the tax that you have to pay, and leveraging these three types of accounts, the RSP, the TFSA, the non-registered account, drawing them down in the right order, the right way, can help you save hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax in retirement. Now, with the RSP, TFSA, and non-registered account, there are 6 possible combinations of different withdrawal orders that we want to explore within this retirement plan. So let's first familiarize ourselves with the different withdrawal orders, and then we're going to jump right into that case study. Now, the withdrawal orders that we're going to explore will include non-registered first, then RSP, then TFSA. We'll explore non-registered first, TFSA, then RSP. We're going to explore RSP first, then non-registered, then TFSA. Then we'll explore RSP first, then TFSA, then non-registered. And then finally, we'll explore TFSA first, non-registered second, and then RSP last. And then finally, we'll explore TFSA first, RSP second, and then non-registered last. So here we've got our retirement plan, but first, before we dive into the details, let's familiarize ourselves with who we're working with here. So we have got Robbie and Mark. Robbie and Mark are age 60 at the moment. They're already retired, first year of retirement. They need to create their retirement decumulation plan. They have a go-go phase of spending that goes until age 75. It's $110,000 a year after tax. They've got a slow go phase from 75 to 85, which is about $92,000 a year. And then they've got their no-go phase at the end of retirement, 85 to about 94, and that's $78,000 per year. So they've got 3 phases of retirement spending, all after tax. Now let's also take a look at their assets today. So they've each got about $500,000 in their registered accounts, RSP. They've got about $175,000 each in their tax-free savings account, TFSA, and they've got non-registered investment accounts of about $250,000, and they've had quite a bit of growth there, so their cost base is just $155,000 each. So they've got $500,000 in those non-registered accounts, $1 million in the RSP, the registered, and they've got about $350,000 in their TFSAs. Total, they've got about $1.85 million. They're retiring at age 60. And they want to spend $110,000 after tax in early retirement. Now let's flip over to the example. Let's walk through these different retirement decumulation orders. All right, so let's explore the different decumulation orders. Now the great thing about advice is that advice is going to do all of this for us. So if I go down to the AI strategies down here, we will take a look at the decumulation order strategy. We're going to filter on that. We're going to come down here and take a look. Now it's already giving us a preview of what the best will be. You can see the difference here in the different withdrawal orders is over $300,000 in estate value. So obviously quite important. The default order here is actually the best one. So it's defaulting to non-registered, registered, then tax-free. But let's explore these from worst to best so we can see how big a difference these make in terms of overall estate value success rate. So let's start with tax-free, registered, non-registered. Let's enable that. We're going to come back up here to the chart. We're going to take a look at what this looks like. So if we go to income, we can see tax-free savings account coming out first. That's a lot of income coming out from the TFSA. Zero tax, obviously, just a little bit of CPP that's already started. So very low tax bill in early retirement. Then they have a lot of registered withdrawals, quite a lot of high tax, and then non-registered last. If we look at their net worth, we can see maybe why this isn't the most efficient. It's leaving all of those taxable assets through the entire course of the plan. Overall estate value is just $1.528 million, and they've got 65% success rate. So not a great plan. I think already we can kind of understand intuitively why this maybe wouldn't be a great option. So let's look at the next worst, which is the registered, tax-free, non-registered. So RSP, TFSA, then non-registered. Slightly better at about an extra $40,000. Let's take a look at what this looks like visually. So here we've got all the registered accounts coming out first. Then we've got TFSA, and then we're leaving the non-registered for last. Again, you could understand why this isn't the most efficient because we're leaving all of the non-registered kind of taxable income there for the entire course of the plan. Now, this might not be too bad because we are melting down the RSPs quickly. It's not too bad because we're doing an RSP meltdown, so maybe there's some advantage there, but definitely second worst in terms of overall withdrawal order. Now let's take a look at the next one. So the next one is decumulation order registered, non-registered, tax-free. So RSP, non-registered, then TFSA. Let's go over here to the income. We'll recalculate and take a look at what this looks like. You can understand why this one's a bit better than the one previously because now we're taking out all the non-registered assets first. It's not too bad. I mean, this is a bit of an RSP meltdown. We're getting all the RSP assets out by about age 68, 69. We've got the TFSA left until the end. We're at 1.63 million. Slightly better success rate at 67%. It's still not great. It's still the fourth best in terms of overall decumulation order. Now let's take a look at tax-free first, then non-registered, then registered. So leaving all of the registered taxable assets until last. This one actually is quite a bit better. We're adding $100,000 here. Let's take a look at what this one looks like. Let's maybe go over to income first. This one I could understand why it's maybe third best. Even though it's doing the TFSA first, tax is extremely low for about 10 plus years here in retirement. So not until age 72 when we're forced to make minimum withdrawals does this actually become taxable income. So otherwise their tax is extremely low, which is probably why this one is third best. So even though there's a big estate tax bill, their after-tax estate value is still the third highest amongst all these different decumulation orders. So that's interesting. Let's do the second best one. Second best one is non-registered, then TFSA, then registered. So flip-flopping a little bit, doing the non-registered withdrawals first. Let's take a look at this one in the income chart. So you can see why this one might be second best because we're leaving all of the registered withdrawals to the end. We have very little to no tax for the first 10 to 11 years of retirement. We're not triggering tax until that 12th year. And we're doing the non-registered first. So we're taking all of the taxable income first, leaving the tax-free savings account second. Overall, again, big estate tax bill, but still quite a bit higher than that worst strategy, 1.5 million. This is now 1.79. So we've added 200 grand or more. And then let's look at the best one. So the best one is to do the non-registered first, then the registered, so RSP, and then the tax-free savings account. Let's take a look at what this one looks like. This one you can maybe understand why it's the best. We're leaving the TFSA for the end, which is usually what you want to do in retirement. Here we're taking the non-registered first, which makes sense. It's all producing taxable income, so we want to get rid of that first. And then we switch to the registered accounts, maybe drawing those down over a longer period of time so we don't have quite as much tax. This looks fairly good. I like having the TFSA towards the end. We've got a $900,000 TFSA there. That's great for long-term care costs, any additional costs, all liquid, easy to access, not in a registered account. So that's great. Almost 1.9 million in estate value. So this is pretty good, but let's see if we can do any better. So let's look at all the other strategies and let's see if we can maybe come up with an even better one. So we had a net worth of 1.876 million. We have a 73% success rate. We can certainly spend more than we were before within the plan with all that extra estate value. But let's see what else we can do down here. So if we explore the AI strategies, we've got an RSP to RIF conversion that we want to do earlier within the plan. So the platform wants to take out some of those registered withdrawals early, but just enough to meet the RIF minimum. Now the other advantage here is that we're probably getting at age 65 the pension income tax credit because we're getting RIF income. So let's enable both of those. And then we'll take a look at the new withdrawal order. So now we've got some registered withdrawals, a little bit of tax, but we're smoothing out tax over the course of retirement. Net worth ends up being a little bit higher, and success rate's about the same. So not a huge change there. Let's see what else we've got. So now we've got a different decumulation order. So now we want to do non-registered, tax-free registered, probably because we're going to be mixing withdrawals. And this is adding another 50,000 or so and increasing success rate. So let's re-enable this one. And so now we've got the minimum withdrawals from the registered, the RSPs. We've got the non-registered that's topping up that income. Once the non-registered is depleted, we're shifting over to the tax-free savings account. But look at that tax line. That tax line is just perfectly smooth all the way throughout retirement. Love to see that. We do have a small estate tax bill, but much lower than before. And now we've got 1.95 million. So I think the first scenarios we looked at were about 1.58-ish. So we've added almost $400,000 here just by looking at the different withdrawal order, different decumulation strategies. So you can see how important this is from a retirement planning decumulation perspective. Now, if we look at their spending, can we maybe add a bit more to their lifetime spending? Let's focus on the spending strategies. So here, if we wanted to spend more, we could, but there's a bit of risk to success rate. So we could maybe spend an extra $12,000 a year in retirement with all of that extra net worth than we added, but it might decrease their success rate a little bit. But certainly spending an extra $3,000 to $6,000 a year seems quite reasonable within their plan if they're willing to be flexible and keep that discretionary. Your withdrawal order has a huge impact on your retirement plan. As we just saw, depending on which accounts you have and how large they are, planning the right retirement decumulation can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax over the course of retirement, help you have a higher estate value, or help you spend more in retirement. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you like and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one.